In today's video, we're going to be discussing the new and returning weapons that were shown off on July 23rd in the Halo Infinite campaign gameplay reveal, so stick around. On July 23rd, we got a pretty good look at what the new weapons and gameplay for the campaign for Halo Infinite is going to be like. But within the campaign trailer, and of course the gameplay demo that was shown, they showed off some new weapons and old returning weapons. So let's go ahead and take a look at those right now. Now, the first weapon that I'd like to show off here was shown in the campaign trailer, not in the gameplay reveal, and that is, of course, just a very short second here, and we get to see the returning weapon of the energy sword. This, of course, looks like it's going to function the exact same, although we don't exactly know how close to the previous games the sword's going to perform. All we see here is just him striking an elite after coming off of a grappling hook swing. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what kind of combos and what exactly is going to be happening once people learn the physics and are able to incorporate that in with the sword. Now, moving on to the next weapon, of course, is the returning BR-55 battle rifle. We only get an image here for a split second of this weapon, and this looks like the Halo 2, Halo 3 version. I'm not exactly sure which one it's actually going to relay most to gameplay, if it has been tweaked again and is going to be distinct and different from the previous games. Because in Halo 2, the battle rifle is a fast-firing, high-velocity weapon, and in Halo 3, it is a much slower-firing, more deliberate leading your shots type of weapon. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they interpret the weapon for Halo Infinite. Of course, moving on to the assault rifle, the design looks much like the Halo Reach assault rifle, but however, it does seem like it functions slightly differently. The bullet spread doesn't seem to be as prominent as it is in the Reach version or in the previous versions of the assault rifle for Halo 3 and for Halo 5. It looks to be much more accurate with a lot less recoil. I am, however, really excited to get my hands on it and see exactly how well it functions in the final game. Moving on to the next weapon, this is the Mk50 Sidekick, and this is the handgun that is shown off in the gameplay demo. It's a 12-shot clip, and it doesn't seem to have any 2x zoom or any scope functions like from Halo CE or ODST or even Halo 5. The design of the weapon is very generic and standard. This looks to be honestly almost like a real-world handgun, and while it looks pretty fun to use, it looks like it's also a low damage and maybe only functions very well on unshielded enemies like the grunts and the jackals. You've seen this kind of weapon before in Halo 3 ODST, where the handgun couldn't break an enemy's shields, and it almost seems to be the same type of handgun. But I am hoping that they do have the more classic weapons in the game somewhere. Moving on to the next weapon is the Ravager, and this is a brute weapon. It's a launcher, a plasma burst. Looks like it fires 3-shot plasma burst and overheats. Instead of being needed to be reloaded, you would just vent the weapon. And it does have a big blade on the front of it that is probably going to have increased melee damage, much like a lot of the brute weapons do. And this, I'm sure, is going to end up being a power weapon, especially for a pickup in multiplayer, because it looks like it does a lot of damage, but then, of course, it is also limited by its 3-round burst. Moving on to the next weapon is the Mk50 Commando, and this, of course, is a assault rifle. It's got a 20-shot clip, and it acts as the heavy machine gun, probably in place of the saw, or even possibly the gun turrets. It definitely looks like it's a low-firing, high-damage weapon, and it is the only weapon that we see in this demo where they scope in at, and it's just for a brief moment while they do this. I don't think this is aimed down sights. I think this is just using the scope on the weapon. And as far as the design goes, it looks okay. It almost, again, looks more like a real-world weapon that you would find in, like, say, Call of Duty, with it being relatively close-looking to the SCAR assault rifle that you would pick up in that game. Now, moving on to the next weapon, we're going to take a look at the Pulse Carbine. It is a rifle with plasma shots, and it is classified as an auto rifle. It seems to be a mix of the classic Carbine from Halo 2 and Halo 3 with the Storm Rifle of Halo 4 and Halo 5. They are firing it in short bursts, so I'm sure by doing that, they are keeping the accuracy. Would be interested to see in someone just holding down the trigger on these automatic weapons just to see how far the accuracy decreases when doing that. And this, of course, is also one of the only other weapons in the game that's been shown that needs to be vented. It doesn't look like you're going to be able to pick up any ammunition, so that once it is finally finished being firing and you run out of room, then you're going to be out of shots. Moving on to the next weapon is the Mangler. It is a brute weapon. It's a pistol. It's a one-shot and does kinetic damage. It has an 8-shot clip and is basically the brute pistol shotgun, though has some distance added on from what we've seen with guns like the Mauler. I mean, they're pretty similar in the name, Mangler, Mauler. So I'd imagine that they're probably going to be functioning right around the same way. It almost looks like the same weapon, but don't be fooled. It is an actual pistol and not the shotgun. And of course, the last weapon that was shown is the Cos48 Bulldog. It is a shotgun. It's got a 10-shot clip and has what looks like a surprisingly good range, and of course, a devastating spread for the weapon. It does look like a drum barrel, and again, this is the theme that seems to be with the UNSC weapons. This looks like a gun that you would find in Call of Duty. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we've seen a weapon like this in Call of Duty. I'm hoping that this doesn't replace what would be the classic shotgun, either from Halo CE or Halo 3 or Halo 2. The weapon design for the shotgun in 4 and 5, to me, I didn't really like. The function was okay, but the actual design of the weapon, it was certainly futuristic. It almost kind of looked like the spaceship, the UNSC that they fly around in. But I don't know, this weapon looks generic, and I'm hoping that they just don't flat out abandon the classic look, and that shotgun is also somewhere else in the game. Other weapons that were shown on screen but weren't used were the Needler, and this looks to be the classic design, the plasma pistol, and of course the brute launcher, and those are actually either shown in trailers or in screenshots. So with the weapons that have been shown in the gameplay demo, I'm super excited to be able to get into the Halo Infinite weapons sandbox. Part of my problem with Halo 5 was that all of the weapons honestly felt the same. Everything had a high degree of accuracy, was super fast firing, and there wasn't really any delineation between the different types of weapons. And what I mean by that is the Human, the Covenant, and the Forerunner weapons. And in all honesty, in most cases, the UNSC weapons performed better than the other ones, which essentially made using the other ones a lesser experience. So hopefully, with Halo Infinite, they can have each weapon fill a particular role and have a wide range of roles for each weapon without having too much overlap with having multiple types of different weapons in the sandbox. But how do you guys feel? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget, in order to be part of the conversation and have your voice heard, hit that subscribe button. And if you're new around here, check out some of my previous videos. I upload content weekly. Don't forget to check out the links in the description. I've got my Twitter there that I'm occasionally on. I'm working on being more active in the Halo community on Twitter. And of course, if you want to support the channel, the links for that are there as well. But until next time, everyone, thank you all for joining me here today for this video, and I'll see all of you in the next one.